ESE online digital platform of ESE Engineering Academy. In the present video session, we are going to discuss the key for ESE 2025 Mechanical Engineering Prelims, and we Mechanical Engineering faculty would like to give the key and solutions, and detailed solutions you are going to get soon, and we are hoping you have performed very well in the examination. So wish you all the best, and I am going to start the solutions. So myself, Dr. G. Balaraju, Professor of Mechanical Engineering. So my rest of the things will be taken care by my colleagues. So when you see the question paper analysis, like as usual, thermal engineering highest weightage, but this year very simple and straightforward questions. So previous year question papers, if you see, calculator is required, but this year without calculator you can answer almost 70 to 80% questions directly you can answer. And coming to heat transfer, previously we had some weightage, but this year only 2 questions. Fluid mechanics and hydraulic machinery, as usual, highest weightage. Strength of metals, 8 questions, really good. Theory of machines, 12 questions. Machine design, good, excellent weightage, 9 questions. IE and OR, 6 questions, the same only you generally expect. Production technology, normally in ESE paper you won't get any production questions. Of course, this year also like same 5 questions. Material science, very pretty good weightage, around 14 questions. Renewable source of energy, mechatronics, maintenance and engineering, so same weightage. So normally students, like most of you might have answered very well in thermal part. And if you are able to score 90 to 100 questions, like you are able to answer 90 to 100 questions, excellent. Definitely you will be getting job. So coming to my subject, industrial management and operations research. So I have 5 questions. Like let me give the key. The first question is related with the layouts. So it is basically layout and clearly mentioned inline layout. And again is that you can find in-floor tow line cards. So it's both are matching, straight away you can choose P to 1. Loop layout is basically used for RGVS, that is AGVS, like automated guided vehicles and rail guided vehicle system. Generally will use loop layout. Then Q and 2. Robot centered layout and industrial robot, there is a matching R3. So straight away you can choose what is the answer here, P1, Q2, R3. So answer is option D. So next question, MRP. Metal requirement planning is basically inventory control technique. So first of all, 2 is correct. It is basically inventory control technique. It is a dependent demand items inventory control. It is distinguishing independent and dependent demand items control. So third statement is correct. MRP is basically taking MPS as the input, and it will give the detailed schedule for subassemblies as well as components. So statement 1 is correct. So what is the right answer here? Option D. So 3 statements are correct. So coming to next, very simple question, dummy activity. Dummy activity will not consume any time or resource. So answer is option A. It will give only relationship. It is meant for sequence. Option A. Option A is the right answer here. Next, coming to ABC, VED, XYZ. ABC classification is based on annual consumption value. So ABC annual consumption value. So that's the 3. That is the P3. So P3 where it is option C. VED criticality of usage. So Q1. P3 Q1 and XYZ it is based upon storage. XYZ R is storage. So P3Q1, P3Q1 R2. So where it is? P3Q1 R2, option C. So next question related to reliability. So reliability analysis can be divided into two broad categories, qualitative and quantitative. This is correct. Reliability engineering deals with the design and construction of systems and products, taking into parts, and each and every part we are going to consider in the engineering side. Management is a broad term, and where we are going to have some kind of different functions we may be taking. Those are manufacturing as well as related with the design, manufacture as well as maintenance, and even service delivery. All these things are in the reliability management. So three things are correct here. Option is generalized question, this one. And the last question is the shape of the reliability. It is a famous bathtub analogy. So bathtub analogy, generally we use this. So reliability in the beginning, always the failure rate, and always it is in the form of bathtub analogy. So straight away I can choose option C without any discussion. Okay, that's all about IM and OR. The next Madhushekhar sir will take care about material science.
Good morning, good evening, dear aspirants of ESE examination. I am Dr. G.S. Sharma, Senior Faculty of Heat Transfer, earlier at ESE Engineering College, as well as ESE Academy. I would be discussing two particular questions. Certainly it would be heartbreaking and disappointing for you, like you got only two questions, but be careful that in main examinations dump you with all heat transfer questions, for sure. So if you take the first particular question, it is basically on conductive convective boundary conditions. You said that there is a boundary wherein whatever conductive heat is convected. So if you write a balance minus K dou T by dou X, wherein the cross section area and the surface area, both of them are same, I am trying to remove it, is equal to H into Ts minus T infinity. No time is given, hence it is a steady state situation. He has given a gradient 9000. So this value is 9000. Minus sign is predicting its nature of the gradient. Thermal conductivity is 25. So mathematically, if you keep minus as well as minus 9000, it becomes plus, is equal to, he has given a heat transfer coefficient of 345 into surface minus ambient 30. Mathematically, when you start making it 5, this cancels around 69 times. A total value Ts is equal to 15,000 divided by 23 plus 30. Answer is 682. You cracked it. Everybody would be making this out. Neat question. The second particular question is rank deciding. Very cleverly the question was given on convection. He said that consider the following statements regarding convective heat transfer coefficient. Convective heat transfer coefficient, whether it is for forced or whether it is for free convection, is not given. So we have to generalize for convection, wherein we have to consider free as well as forced. So if you write in terms of your forced convection, Nusselt number is a function of Reynolds and Prandtl. Whereas in free convection, Nusselt number is a function of Grashof and Prandtl, wherein you observe that viscosity mu Cp by K, which is there in Prandtl number, or in Grashof number G beta delta T LC cube divided by nu square, you have viscosity influenced by surface geometry, correct, either the length or diameter or characteristic length. If it is forced convection, then it would be velocity. If it is free convection, there is no velocity. Hence, I would opt for 1 and 3. Answer is 1 and 3. And definitely, I would say that most of them will go with 1, 2, 3. My dear students of ESE, you will crack it for 1 and 3. Thank you very much. All the best for your next preparation. I think it is done.
Right, welcome to ESE Online. Myself Madhushekar, faculty at ESE Online and ESE Academy. Now I am here going to discuss about questions with the detailed solutions of ESE 2025 from the material science. Now this is a very simple question. In this question, a liquid phase transformed into two solid phases alpha and beta. So this is nothing but eutectic reaction. So option A is the correct one. Next, see what is the property developed by cutting tools due to the addition of tungsten and molybdenum. See, tungsten, molybdenum are two refractory metals. They have very high melting point temperature. So by adding these metals, the high temperature strength and red hotness of the material will increase. So C is the correct answer for this question. Now this question is related to mechanical properties of material. So first statement is related to the strength. Strength is the ability of material that resists the failure or fracture. Elasticity is nothing but a temporary deformation. Once if you remove the load, it will try to regain back to its original state. Plasticity is nothing but a permanent deformation. So all the statements are correct here. So option D is the correct answer for this question. Now this question is related to FCC structure. In FCC structure, the effective number of atoms present inside the unit cell is only 4. Effective number of atoms are 4. Then this question is related to the Bravis lattice systems, right? Hexagonal system, one angle is 120, other two angles are 90. Cubic system, all the angles are 90 degrees. And monoclinic system, one angle is different, other two angles are 90. So 2, 3, 1 is the correct answer. So 2, 3, 1 is A. So this is the correct answer for this question. Now this question is related to electric precipitator. Okay. So ionization of gas molecules that travel from discharge electrodes to the ground collection electrodes, that is precipitator. So D is the correct answer for this question. Now the eutectic copper, silver and lead tin phase diagrams have only two solid phases. These are sometimes we call it as terminal solid solutions because they can soluble up to the maximum single phase alpha region and beta region. So we call it as terminal solid solutions. Next, see here, this is related to properties of tempering process. This is related to heat treatment process, tempering process actually. Tempering process is a secondary heat treatment process applied hardening. Tempering process is a secondary heat treatment process applied after hardening. The martensite material is the input material. Here we are applied to increase the toughness. So out of 4 options, only one option is there toughness. That's why A is the correct answer for this question. A is the correct answer for this question. Next question is related to the ferrous alloys. Okay. In this ferrous alloys, if you observe carefully, the second statement is wrong. Stainless steel is a high alloy steel. In the stainless steel, 18% of chromium, 8% of nickel we are adding. If the alloy content is more than 10%, that is high alloy steel. So this is absolutely wrong. So 1 and 3 is the correct answer for this question. So C is the correct answer. Simple question, right? Next is related to the applications of different cast irons. See, one is grey cast iron. So grey cast iron applications you can take, strength is not the primary criteria because it is more brittle, you can say. Ductile cast iron is like valves, pump bodies we can use, ductile cast iron. Malleable cast iron is used at high temperature and compacted graphite iron is used for engine blocks. So that option A is the correct answer for this question. So simple question, right? Next question is related to the non-ferrous alloys, okay. In case of non-ferrous alloys, all the statements are correct. First statement is related to molybdenum alloys, second is tantalum alloy, third is superalloys. So D is the correct answer for this question, right? And next one is related to the nanomaterial. Next one is related to the nanomaterial. Here, first and second statement, first statement is related to the definition. That is 1 nanometer to 100 nanometer range is a nanomaterial. Second statement is a nanometer scale cluster, you can say, that is also correct. Third statement is not correct because fullerenes and carbon nanotubes can be seen as a curved pieces. See here it is given, cannot given. So that is wrong. So that 1 and 2 are the correct. So A is the correct option for this question, right. So next question is related to the deformation at a high temperature at a constant load. So deformation at a high temperature at a constant load less than yield point, we can say that is a creep test we are using. So D is the correct answer for this question. D is the correct answer for this question. These are the basic definitions: isotropy, anisotropy and ductility. So isotropy means material properties are same in every direction. Anisotropy means material properties will change, and ductility means a deformation process. So ductility is a deformation in process. So R is 2, and anisotropy means variation of the physical properties. Q is 3 and P is 1. So that you can say 1, 3, 2, you can say 1, 3, 2. So B is the correct answer for this question. Next question is related to the impact strength of the material. Okay, impact strength of the material. Here you can take the third statement directly. The angle of notch also improves the impact strength. See, angle of notch decrease the impact strength. So see, third statement is absolutely wrong. So that I am not considering this statement. Second statement and first statement both are correct. So option A is the correct. Okay, option A, 1 and 2 are the correct. So A is the correct answer for this question. So these are the questions related to the material science. They are very easy questions. Now next I am going to discuss about renewable energy source questions. The renewable energy source questions are also very easy. 14 questions they asked. Now see here, the percentage of incoming radiation energy reflected back to space by the earth is approximately 30% actually. Okay, reflecting back is 30% actually. So C is the correct answer. Now here, This question is related to the flat plate collector. Now third statement I am considering, absorber plate material should have high electrical conductivity. So this is wrong. Absorber plate has to absorb the heat from the solar radiation, then it transferred to the fluid. So third statement is wrong. So that A, first statement A 1 and 2 is correct. So A is the correct option for this question. Now see the question here. This is regarding the performance indices of solar collector. See, solar collector performance depending on solar range, okay, solar range, solar collector efficiency, concentration ratio, right. Solar temperature range is the range of temperature to which the heat transporting fluid is heated up by the collector, correct. Collector efficiency is nothing but energy absorbed by the absorber plate and transferred to the fluid to the incident energy, correct. So concentration ratio is the area of receiver to the area of aperture, so that all the statements are correct. So D is the correct option for this question, right. Next question is, consider the following statements regarding solar thermal system. See, out of 3 statements, the third statement if you see, solar thermal system is not utilized in drying industry. No, it is absolutely wrong. Solar energy we are using for drying of agricultural products. That is nothing but a drying industry. So third statement is wrong. So that 1 and 2 are the correct option for this question. So A is the correct one, right. So option, statement elimination method I am using here. Okay, now next is regarding chemical energy storage. Okay, chemical energy storage. See, in this chemical energy storage, all the 3 statements are correct here, you can say. So D is the correct answer for this question. Okay, na? Chemical energy storage regarding the fuel cell, okay, converted into hydrogen can be converted into thermal energy can be converted into chemical energy, based on the applications we can go, right. Next question is solar space heating. Solar space heating, there are 2 types of space heating, passive and active. In case of active space heating, equipment is required, maintenance is required, but in case of passive, there no equipment is required. So all the statements in this case is also correct. All the statements in this case is also correct. So D is the correct option for this question. D is the correct option for this question. Now next question if you see, solar refrigeration and air conditioning system. Okay, solar refrigeration and air conditioning system. In this case we are using 2 working fluids, one is a refrigerant and second is absorbent. Here one important thing is absorbent should have high affinity for the refrigerant. So this statement is wrong. So second statement is wrong. So answer for this question is C, that is 1 and 3 are the correct, because it should have, absorbent should have high affinity to the refrigerant, right. Next question is regarding the solar greenhouse. So in this case solar greenhouse, all the 3 statements are correct. So D is the correct answer for this question. D is the correct answer for this question regarding the greenhouse effect. Now this is solar distillation. Solar distillation actually is nothing but purifying the ocean water by using solar energy. So converting saline water into fresh water, that is 1, correct. Now if we talk about these 2 statements, we can say that both are not correct, because in the world you can see, in the universe you can see 97% of the water is a ocean water, that is a salt water, only 3% of water is a fresh water, right. So both the statements may not be correct. So we can't say which is correct and which is not correct. So I think it is, we can think about this, we will see that later. Okay, I don't know the UPSC how they will give the answer for this. Next, this is regarding the history of wind energy. Okay, history of wind energy. See, remember the generator coupled to the wind turbine is known as a aero generator, that is correct, statement 1. Statement 2 is wrong actually. The first windmill is developed in Persian country, after that in all European countries developed in the 12th century, but it is given in Australia, so that is not correct. So second statement is not correct, that's why 1 and 3 are the correct for this question. So B is the correct answer for this question. Now next question you can see, consider the following statements regarding ocean tidal energy conversion scheme. Ocean tidal energy. In case of single basin double effect, power is generated on both flood and ebb, that is correct. Linked basin scheme consists of 2 basins, one top and one bottom, so here is also correct. Okay. in single effect scheme, power is not generated during either filling or emptying of the basin. No. In single effect scheme, at least one time either flooding or in ebbing, removing the water from the basin, we are generating the power. So that's why third statement is not correct. So B is the correct answer for this question, right? Now next question here, it is biomass energy. See, remember, out of all the three statements, third statement is absolutely wrong, because we are using vegetable oil in diesel engines, right? We are using vegetable oils for the diesel engines. So but it is given in the question, statement cannot be used given. So that is wrong statement. So 1 and 2 are the correct option for this question. So A is the correct one for this question, right? Now the next question here, it is fuel cell technology. Fuel cell is nothing but chemical energy converted into electrical energy, but here mechanical energy converted into electrical energy is given. So that's why first statement is wrong. So that I am going with the third option, C option. 2 and 3 are the correct option for this question. Simple question this also. Next is, which type of glass is used in flat plate collector? See, in flat plate collector, low iron tempered glass we are using in case of a flat plate collector. Right, these are the renewable energy questions, 14 questions, okay now next is 2 maintenance questions here I am discussing. See, this is a vibration analysis. In case of vibration analysis, we are collecting the data from the machine either in the form of time or in the form of frequency. So B is the correct answer for this question, right? So here you can see, consider the following statements regarding the ergonomics. So in case of ergonomics, first and second statement are correct, but third statement is not correct because it is given not. Ergonomics have not carried out experimental setup. See, experimental data is required to understand about the ergonomics. So third statement is not correct. So A is the correct answer for this question. 1 and 2 is the correct one. Now, next question, one question is related to production, especially metal forming. This question is a very simple question, that is regarding cold working and hot working. See, first statement is wrong actually. Cold working may be defined as a plastic deformation of metals and alloys at a temperature above the recrystallization temperature is given. Above the recrystallization temperature is a hot working. So statement 1 is not correct. So answer for this question is B, that is 2 and 3 are the correct. Right. So these are the questions related to material science, renewable energy, maintenance engineering and metal forming.
right? Chalo. In production, actually, we got 5 questions out of that. One is from metal cutting. And in this question, as they said, what is the property developed by the cutting tool due to addition of tungsten and molybdenum to high carbon steel? Remember, high carbon cutting tools where always we add some extra additives to improve various properties. Among that, one most important is a hot hardness or red hardness. Red hardness need to be higher, then only cutting tool can withstand even at elevated temperature with its own geometry as it is. So therefore, to improve the red hardness, always we add the tungsten or molybdenum. Therefore, we can say directly answer is red hardness. So red hardness is the answer, right? Next, in this question of metrology, as they are asking basically definitions of 3 different type of fits. In clearance fit, remember, lower limit of the hole always must be greater than upper limit of the shaft. This is a clearance. Whereas in interference, upper limit of the hole must be smaller than lower limit of the shaft. When it comes to transition fit, tolerance zones of hole and shaft get overlapped. So under these conditions, when you go with these definitions, we can say clearance fit is nothing but the diameter, the larger permissible diameter of the shaft is smaller than the diameter of the smallest hole. So larger permissible diameter of the shaft is smaller, they are saying. So therefore, upper limit of the shaft is smaller than diameter of the hole and smallest hole, that too. So therefore, we can say P is with 1 and when P is 1, just if you apply the common sense also, we are able to give the answer directly by looking at the options. Option B is the answer, right? P is with 1. Whereas you cross check remaining options also, like Q interference is with a 3, the minimum permissible diameter of the shaft exceeds the maximum allowable diameter of the hole. Whereas a transition fit overlap condition, whereas when it is overlap, upper limit of the hole is larger than lower limit of the shaft, whereas lower limit of the hole is smaller than both upper and lower limit of the shaft. So that statement only they given here. So based on that, answer is option B. Whereas in this question of sine bar, which is also from metrology, they are asking a formula for sine bar of angle theta formed between upper surface of the sine bar and the surface plates. Whereas in a sine bar, remember, always the center distance between 2 roller is a size, and they mentioned capital L, distance between the centers of the rollers, and height of slip gauge is basically h, which is also even going to be equal to opponent of this right angle triangle, where they are asking us to give a relation between this h and L with respect to theta. Therefore, we can say it is opponent versus hypo, sin theta is equal to h by L. We use this formula to calculate most of the time angle. So directly answer is option B. So these are the 3 questions partially part of a production, and few more questions are there will be dealt by my colleague. That's it. Thank you.
I am Ravi sir, Faculty of Production subject. The total 5 questions of production is asked in this exam. The 3 question solution completed by Fasikant sir, and now you can see the remaining 2 question solution here. The one question you can see, that question is from the chapter metal casting. You can see first, what is the refractoriness, guys? Here you can see all the option. That is, for refractoriness you can see it should be able to withstand the high temperature, means that sand particle has high refractoriness, then it can absorb, it can take, it can withstand the high temperature, and that is the refractoriness. You can see the answer of P is 4. You can see here the 2 options are there for the P4. Next is permeability. Permeability actually is indicated, the porosity is indicated in terms of permeability, then which is the correct option here. Just see, you can see the 3 and 1. What is 3? Ability to allow gases, water vapor and air to pass through it, it is correct. Then permeability is here the 3, then correct option is A. Now go with the remaining next, cohesiveness. Cohesiveness, you can see
ability of sand grains to stick together is known as cohesiveness. And what is the adhesiveness here? The ability of sand to stick to the other bodies. Hence, the correct option is option A. Very easy basic question is there. Now, you can see the next question is from the chapter metal forming, and they asked about, you can see what is the cold working and what is the hot working. Okay. If the working is above the recrystallization temperature, then it is known as hot working, and if the working is below the recrystallization temperature, then it is known as the cold working. Then now see the question, consider the following statement regarding the hot and cold working. Cold working may be defined as plastic deformation of metals and alloys at a temperature above the recrystallization temperature. No, it is below the recrystallization temperature, then it is known as cold working. Then here the first sentence is wrong. Now here you can see in A, C, D option the sentence 1 is given, therefore the answer correct is B, and here you need to see which of the above statement are correct. Then first statement is wrong, then the answer is here answer is option B. The second, hot working may be explained as plastic deformation of metals and alloys at such a temperature at which recovery and recrystallization takes place, means it is going to happen at or above recrystallization temperature. This point 2 is correct. And point 3, recrystallization temperature is not a fixed temperature, guys. Its value, if you want to see the value of that recrystallization temperature, then it is 1/3 to half of melting point temperature of material. This as the material is going to change, its melting point temperature is going to change, therefore the recrystallization temperature is also going to change. Then recrystallization temperature is not a fixed temperature, but it is actually a temperature range. That is correct. That what is the range? 1/3 to 1/3 to half of melting point temperature. This is also correct. Therefore, the correct option is option B. Here all the 5 questions of productions are completed.
Hello guys, welcome to ESE Online. Myself Hazrat, I am the faculty at ESE Engineering Academy. I am going to cover strength of metal engineering mechanics. Now coming to strength of metal, guys, I can proudly say all the questions are from our ESE Academy offline class notes itself. You can keep last 5 years of any year class notes, you can able to answer all the questions from our class notes itself. Coming to the first question, guys. What is the relation between K and E? What is mean by K here? Bulk modulus. E means Young's modulus. What is straight forward relation, guys? E equal to 3K into 1 minus 2V. He's asking K, guys. K equal to how much, guys? E by 3 into 1 minus 2V. The right answer here is option A. I hope this is clear. Next, coming to second one, basic centroid question, guys. See here. Semicircular area. What is semicircular centroid, guys? 4r by 3 pi. Triangular area. What is, guys? H by 3. Rectangular area. H by 2. What is the parabolic area, guys? It should be 3b by 8. Here parabola means this is the parabolic area, guys. He's asking this is the x bar. This should be equal to 3b by 8, guys. Now if you can match, P should be 1. Sorry. P should be 3. Q should be 1. So it is matching with the option D. You can check it, guys. Next, coming to next question. just he's asking stress and its symbol, guys. See how basic question it is. Tensile stress is matching with 4. This is sigma, guys. I can write. Sorry, tensile strain. Tensile strain means 3. Next, tensile stress means sigma symbol, 3, 4. Shear strain means 5. It is equal to 2, guys. Shear stress is 1 itself, 3, 4, 2, 1, which is matching with which answer, guys? Anyone? 3, 4, 2, 1. It is matching with the option C, guys. Now, this is another straightforward question from elongation of bars. A rod of 150 centimeters long has given that length equal to 150 centimeters and of diameter is given as 2 centimeters, guys. Diameter equal to 2 centimeters, take care of the units, is subjected to axial pull-off. P equal to how much has given? 20 into 10 cube newtons, guys. Next, if the modulus of elasticity, Young's modulus equal to how much he has given, guys? 2 into 10 power 5, then what is the elongation of the rod? What is the elongation formula? Delta L equal to PL by AE. Sir, do we require calculator? Absolutely not. Very, very simple, guys. Here, what is the P? Take care of it, guys. P equal to 20 into 10 cube. Next, length. Please check, guys. He's asking answer in terms of mm, but he has given in terms of centimeters, guys. So we have to convert in terms of mm itself. So L equal to how much? 1500 mm, because 150 centimeters means 1500 mm, guys. By area how much, guys? Pi by 4 d square. D equal to 2 centimeters means what exactly? 20 mm, which means that 400 I am going to get, guys, into Young's modulus 2 into 10 power 5, guys. If you observe carefully, 4 getting cancelled, 1 2 getting cancelled, guys. It is coming as 1.5 by pi mm. The answer is matching with the option A, guys. Okay, next. The place on which shear stress are known as, shear stress are 0 is called, tell me, sir, on the principal plane shear stress equal to 0. The right answer here is, guys, option D is the right answer. Next, what is the expression for normal stress when perpendicular stresses are acting accompanied with a state of simple shear? This is the place, small confusion, small mistake in the statement they have given, guys. They are supposed to give expression for a normal stress on inclined plane. This word has to be given, guys, according to the option, but this word is missed. This should be on inclined plane. He is asking the stress on this inclined plane, guys. Straightforward formula, you know, guys. Sigma theta equal to sigma x plus sigma y by 2 plus sigma x minus sigma y by 2 cos 2 theta plus tau xy sin 2 theta. But the problem here is, guys, he hasn't given sigma x, he hasn't given sigma y, he hasn't given tau xy, guys. He's asking us to assume sigma x equal to, according to options I am telling, sir, sigma x equal to P1, sigma y equal to P2, tau xy equal to Q, guys. Now if we substitute, guys, from here, how can we get one of these options? Very simple. If you observe carefully, take sigma x by 2 common here. How much is coming? 1 plus cos 2 theta. Next, take sigma y by 2 common, guys. How much is coming? 1 minus cos 2 theta plus tau xy sin 2 theta, guys. Tau xy sin 2 theta. Now if you observe carefully, what is meant by 1 plus cos 2 theta means 2 cos square theta. Yes or no? So I can write sigma x by 2 into 2 cos square theta. Next, sigma y by 2 into what is meant by 1 minus cos 2 theta? 2 sin square theta plus tau xy sin 2 theta, guys. Now, 2 getting cancelled, 2 getting cancelled, guys. Sigma x means P1. P1 cos square theta, P2 sin square theta. It is coming in the option A, guys. Please check it. But here, the sentence should be wrong, guys. It should give the normal stress and inclined plane he is supposed to give, but he hasn't given that one, guys. Okay, next, 148. Consider the following statements regarding the shear force and bending moment diagrams, guys. First, the shear force between any two vertical loads will be constant, and hence shear force diagram between the vertical loads will be remains constant. Yes, absolutely correct, guys. Between two vertical loads are there. Between two vertical loads are there, guys. This is the place load equal to 0. If the load equal to 0, shear force equal to how much, guys? Constant. So first one is absolutely correct. Next one, guys. The bending moment at two supports of a simply supported beam and at the free end of a cantilever beam will be 0. Absolutely correct, guys. Is saying that bending moment at the two supports, this support will be definitely will be 0 because distance equal to 0. Next, take a cantilever beam. This is again same place. I will be having a 0 moment, guys. Next, but the free end of the cantilever, there will be a bending moment. Yes, sorry, there will be a fixed end of the cantilever, there will be a bending moment. Yes, sir. At this location, to fix the moment, guys, I will be having a fixed moment will be present. So second one also correct, guys. Next, third one. The positive values of shear force and bending moment are plotted above the baseline and negative values are below the baseline. This standard rule we used to follow while drawing the SFD BMD. All options are correct, guys. The right answer here is option D is the right answer, guys. Next, please check this question. A steel wire of 10 mm diameter is given, guys. Diameter equal to how much? 10 mm is bent into a circular arc, guys. It is bent like a circular arc which is having a radius of 20 meters. Having a radius of 20 meters, guys. 20 meters. Then what is the maximum stress induced in it, guys? Observe carefully here, he hasn't given bending moment. If he given the bending moment, we can find it very easily. But he hasn't given the bending moment. How can we do it? With the help of a flexure formula. What is the flexure formula, guys? E by R, M by I, sigma B by Y. But these two, I can't able to do it because moment is not given. So sigma B equal to how much, guys? Anyone? E Y by R. E how much is given for the steel, guys? 2 into 10 power 5. 2 into 10 power 5. Y. This is the neutral axis, na? From this one, how much is coming, sir? 5 mm. Because total diameter equal to 10, radius equal to 5, guys. By R. Radius equal to how much, guys? 20 meters means I can write approximately, sir. So 20,000 mm itself, guys. Just do it. You will get 50 Newton per mm square I am going to get. The right answer is option C, guys. If you check our ESE Academy booklet, guys, in the chapter number 3, exact question is you can able to see in our ESE Academy booklet, guys. Exact question. Next, we'll see from engineering mechanics, guys. Yes, this is a little tricky question he has given from engineering mechanics. What is the magnitude of the third force P if 3 forces of magnitudes he has given? 3 forces of magnitudes, guys. Please check it. First force, how much? 40 kilonewtons. Second force, how much? 15 kilonewtons. Third force, how much? P, we don't know. Getting an answer, everyone? But these 3 forces are giving a resultant, amma. These 3 forces are giving a resultant R. How much is the resultant it is giving, guys? 30.41. 30.41. At what angle, guys, here? 85.28 degrees. This is the angle it is acting, guys. That is asking, what is this force P equal to how much? How can we find out, guys? Very simple. See, the horizontal component of all these forces must be equal to horizontal component of this resultant, amma. So for this, what I can able to see, has given the angles also. This is the 60 degrees. This angle also 120 degrees he has given. So this should be again 60 degrees. Then this total angle is given as 240. So this should be again 60 degrees itself. Now take it, guys. All the horizontal components, sigma fx how much, amma? Sigma fx equal to, please check it, guys. Sigma fx equal to 40 cos 60. Very good. Next, this is coming in the negative x side, guys. 15 cos 60. Excellent. Next, P cos 60, guys. Minus P cos 60 must be equal to how much, guys? or cos 35, which means that 30.41 into cos of 85.28. If you check it, you can ask the question, sir, cos of 85 point how much? That's why I has given the clue also. Cos of 85.28 equal to 0.08 he has given, guys. Check it. 3.41 into 0.082. You can see, guys, 8 into 3, 24. So I'm going to get 2.5 approximately, guys. 2.5 approximately you're going to get this value. Now substitute. Cos 60 means 40 by 2. Again cos 60 means 15 by 2. Next, again p by 2. Must be equal to how much, guys? 2.5. Substitute, guys, here. 2 it is going this side 5. 40 minus 15 equal 25. Minus p equal to how much, guys? 5 itself. P equal to how much? 20 kilonewtons, guys. The right answer here is option C, guys. Why I am saying it's a tricky is if you check the options, guys, 18, 90, 20, 21, very close options they're given. Amma. If you make a small mistake, you may end up into the wrong answer, guys. Next. Question number 140, based on the loss of friction. If you check our class notes, these points will be coming in the first page of our loss of friction topic, guys. Please check the first one. The limiting friction force bears a constant ratio to the normal reaction between the two surfaces. Absolutely correct. Limiting friction force is what? Mu n. By n will give you what exactly, sir? Coefficient of friction. It is a constant itself. So first option is absolutely correct. First option is absolutely correct. Next, guys. The ratio between limiting friction and the normal reaction. What is the ratio between limiting friction and normal reaction, guys? Coefficient of friction, guys, is greater when two surfaces are in motion. Absolutely wrong, guys. When the two surfaces are in motion, we get the coefficient of kinetic friction that is less than the static friction, guys. So definitely, sir, when it is in motion means UK is less than US, guys, but has given greater. So 2E is wrong, guys. Next, if you check it, if 2E, if you can eliminate, guys, right answer should be C itself. Directly you can able to say. Anyway, let's see the third option also. The limiting friction force does not depend upon the shape and areas of the surfaces in contact. This point I have highlighted in our class notes, guys. You can check it. It is independent of, C, the coefficient of friction is independent of shape of the object and area of the surface in contact also, guys. It just depends upon nature of the surfaces in contact, guys. So this option also correct itself. The right answer here is, guys, 1 and 3. Option 3 is the right answer. Now, what is the time required for a particle to reach a velocity? So he want to gain a velocity of how much, guys? Velocity equal to 72 meters per second. This is the velocity he wants us to gain. And he has given that the displacement function he has given, guys. Displacement function equal to 2t cube minus 24t plus 6. Then what is the, he's asking, guys, at what time the velocity 72 meters per second I'm going to get, guys? Very simple. He has given displacement. Velocity equal to how much, guys? ds by dt. How much is coming? 6t square minus 24, guys. This value must be equal to how much he has given, Amma? 72 he has given. Getting an answer, everyone? Substitute here. T square. 4 I can write down, guys, here. Yes. Equal to 72, guys, I can write 18. So I can able to get, sorry, sir. Sorry, guys, 12 I am going to get. 12 plus 4 equal to 16. T equal to how much, guys? 4 seconds. The right answer here is 4 seconds itself. Getting an answer? I hope you're done well, guys. Wish you all the best. Thank you.
let's see the answers to the questions which were asked from machine design. So this year we can notice that there were less number of questions which were asked than the previous 2 years. Okay, so these are the basic fundamental questions which were asked. So you can notice here he has given the definitions of various elements, and he is asking which of these three are correct. Now we know that bearing is the element which is supporting the shaft. Okay, here the first one is, the first option is right, whereas there is some ambiguity here in the second option. So here we can notice that key is used to transfer the torque between the shafts. Actually it is used to connect between the shaft and the hub. Okay, and internally in turn it is connected to transmit power between two different shafts. But here power screw is used to store and release the energy. This is completely wrong. Now here, so partially I can consider the second statement. So I am not saying that this is completely true. Partially I can say that the second statement is true and the first statement is true. From this I can notice that the answer is A. Okay, for this simple question the answer is A. Okay, so two plates subjected to a tensile force of 50 kilonewtons or fixed together by means of 3 rivets. Here they are using three identical rivets. The plates and rivets are made of plain carbon steel 10C4. The permissible shear stress is given. Neglecting stress concentration factor, determine the diameter of the rivets. Here he is asking us to find the diameter. So how to solve this simple question? So as we know that the applied load has to be lesser than or equal to the shear strength of these rivets. How many rivets do we have? 3. What is the shear strength? So here he gave the permissible stress as 50 into pi by 4 into d square. So here what is the magnitude of load given? Applied load is given as 50 kilonewtons. If you do this simple calculation, you will get the magnitude of diameter to be greater than or equal to 20.6 mm. So the answer here is B. Okay, moving to the next question. Which theory? So here direct question. So we know that maximum principal stresses reaches the ultimate strength of the material. So it is proposed by Rankine. So that theory, the answer here is A. Consider the following statements regarding fatigue failure. Yes, this is the simple one that we have. So we have seen this in the classroom. So fatigue failure is defined as a time delayed fracture under cyclic loading. Yes, under cyclic loading, yes, we know that it is the time delayed fracture. So fatigue failure begins with a crack. Yes, so it begins with a crack, propagation, and finally, so without any notice, it fractures. Fatigue cracks are not visible till they reach the surface of the component, and by the time the failure has already been taken place. So even the option 3 is also right. So here first statement is right, second statement is also right, and the third is also right. So the answer here is D. Moving to the next one. This is also on the fatigue failure. So do read this question carefully. Consider the following statements regarding endurance limit and fatigue failure. Since the fatigue test cannot be conducted for unlimited, yes, obviously, so we are considering 10 power 6 cycles to be the limit for endurance test. Yes, this statement is right. The fatigue life is defined as the number of stress cycles that the standard specimen can complete before. Yes, this is also right. The SN curve is the graphical representation of stress amplitude. Obvious, this is also right. So between the stress amplitude as well as the fatigue, the number of cycles to fatigue failure on log graph. So all the three options are correct. So the answer here is D. Okay. Moving to the next question. This is also on the fatigue failure concept. Consider the following statements here regarding surface finish factor. So here, why do we consider surface finish factor? Yes, because of the surface irregularities or because of the surface roughness or surface smoothness, yes, it can impact the strength of the member. That is what we have seen in the classroom. The surface scratches serve as a stress raisers and result in stress concentration. Yes. Okay, because of the scratches, yes, it is acting as a crack on the surface. It is acting as the stress concentration. The endurance limit is reduced due to the introduction of stress concentration at surface scratches. Now please say me what will happen. So because of the increase in this depth, because of the surface scratches, as stress concentration is increasing, endurance limit has to be decreased. As the ultimate tensile strength increases, the surface finish factor also increases. Yes, we know that the surface finish factor is dependent on ultimate strength. All these three parameters are right. So which means I can say that the answer even for this question is D. Moving to the next question. So this is a tricky question that was asked. Okay, let's see how to solve this question. So here the weld is given. So for this weld, he gave transverse weld as well as parallel weld, and the applied load here is given as 55 kilonewtons, and he gave the transverse for the permissible stresses, permissible tensile and shear for the weld metal is given as 70 and 50. Now here if you solve this, and here one more point to be noted here, 15 mm for starting and stopping. So additionally we are trying to provide 15 mm for starting and stopping here on each side of this parallel fillet weld. Now here if you notice, so if I solve this, applied load is lesser than or equal to, so as the weld is considered to be weaker in shear, if I consider the shear strength relation, so the total length, so here the equation is SYS into 0.707 times H into the total length L. Now here the applied load is given as 55 kilonewtons, 55 into 10 cube is lesser than or equal to SYS is 50 into 0.707 times H value comes out to be 10, and here length is nothing but equal to 75 plus 2 times length of each parallel fillet weld. So from this, okay, the length of each parallel fillet comes out to be 40.29 mm. From here it comes out as 40.29 mm. But here along with this he also said that there is 15 mm. So so weld run is also be introduced here. If I consider the weld run also, so plus 15, it comes out to be 55.29. It is not there in the options. I cannot go with the closest answers. But here, this is by considering the shear strength. But what if you consider the tensile strength of the transverse fillet weld? In such situation, how to solve this? Let's see here. Now here, so considering the transverse strength is lesser than or equal to, so here the transverse strength is 70 into 0.707 times H into 75 mm plus, so 50 into 0.707 times H into length of each parallel fillet into 2. So here the value of LP comes out to be greater than or equal to, so we somehow get this as 25.29 mm. So considering the tensile magnitudes, the length of parallel fillet weld required here is, so beyond, so I can notice this to be, so 40.29 mm by adding the weld run. Now this is one tricky and difficult question which is given from this particular topic. Apart from that, every other question is easy. So from here I can notice that the answer here is A. Moving to the next equation, these are very easy one. So here the cylindrical pressure vessel with 1 meter inner diameter is subjected to internal steam pressure of 1.5 megapascal. So here he says that there is a cylindrical pressure vessel. Now here we are using rivets to go with join or connect between two different cylinders. Now here what is happening? Here from the given data we can consider the seam of rivets to be along the circumference. As two cylinders are connected like this, we are connecting them along their circumference. Now two cylinders, or if the rivets are to be failed, there has to be longitudinal force which is acting on the cylindrical members. Okay. Now here if I notice this particular data, so if I need to design this particular member, how do we need to design? Whatever is a pressure load which is acting, this load has to be lesser than or equal to the shear strength of all these rivets. Let me assume that N represents the number of rivets into Fs represents the shear strength of each rivet. Now what is a pressure load which is acting in horizontal direction, which is nothing but equal to 1.5 into pi by 4. Diameter of this is given as 1 meter, which is 1000 square, lesser than or equal to N value we need to find, into Fs. Fs here is 60 into pi by 4 into 23 square. 23 is the diameter of rivet. If you calculate, you will be getting the value of N approximately equal to 48. So the answer here is what? C. So let's see one last question that we have here. So consider the following statements regarding the bolt of uniform strength. We know that resilience is defined as the ability of the metal to absorb energy. Yes, this statement is true. The shock absorbing capacity of the bolt can be decreased if the shank of the bolt is turned down to the diameter equal to the root diameter. When we know that when shank diameter is decreased to the root diameter, so we are converting the bolt to be a bolt of uniform strength, isn't it? Now in such situation, obviously the shock absorbing capacity is increasing. Now which means here the second statement is wrong. Okay, so what did he say? Decrease. So if at all, if the shock absorbing capacity can be decreased if the shank diameter of the bolt is turned down to the root diameter, which means this statement is wrong. The resilience of the bolt can also be increased. Yes, this is also right here. If length is increased, yes, we can also increase the resilience of the member. Now which means 1 and 2 are right, 1 and 3 are right. So the answer here is C. Okay. So these are the questions that were asked from machine design. I hope you have performed well, and I wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Dear students, let's continue with the next topic, that is theory of machines and vibrations. So here is the first question. What is the addendum of a gear tooth? So addendum here is basically the radial distance between the pitch circle and the tip of the tooth. So this is the addendum, and it is a standard definition. So let's check the option. So option A says that radial distance between the pitch circle and the dedendum. So this is usually used to designate dedendum, and height of the tooth above the pitch circle is addendum. So option B is the answer. Let's see the next question. What is the resulting mobility M of a planar N-link mechanism when we use J1 joints to denote the number of single degree of freedom pairs and J2 for number of 2 degree of freedom pairs? So it's a standard relation. They are asking you to write the Grubler's criteria, where we are involving the pairs which is having 1 degree of freedom and the pairs which is having 2 degree of freedom. So these subscripts indicate the degree of freedom that is permitted. So here option A is the answer, that is 3n minus 1 minus 2j1 minus j2. Okay, so it's a standard question. Option A is the answer. Let's see the next question. what is the method for obtaining different mechanisms by fixing different links of a kinematic chain? So whenever we are fixing the different link in a mechanism, we are going to obtain the inversion of that mechanism. Okay, so inversion is a process, or inversion can be done by fixing the different links within a given kinematic chain. Option C is the answer. Next, which are consider the following statements regarding the instantaneous centers. So for pivoted point or pin joint, the instantaneous center for two links lies on the center of the pin. So for if there is a revolute joint for two bodies, or if they are connected by means of a revolute joint, the instantaneous center will lie exactly at the pin itself or the center of pin. So statement 1 is correct. So here we can observe here, that is option A, option C and option D are including statement 1. Let's see another statement. In case of pure rolling of the two links, the instantaneous center lies at the point of contact. For the case of pure rolling, the eye center is going to lie at the point of contact, and this is the standard result. Even the statement 2 is also correct. Okay, and in the statement 3, that is sliding motion, in a sliding motion, the instantaneous center lies at infinity in the direction perpendicular to the path of motion of the slider. So for prismatic joint or the sliding pair, the eye center will be lying at infinite distance. Okay, and the distance will be measured perpendicular to the line of stroke of the slider. So statement 3 is also correct. That means option D is the answer, which is including statement 1, 2 and 3. Let's see another question. Match the following. Base circle, it is the smallest circle. Yeah. So here the types of circles are given and the description of the circle is given on the other side. So this is a question, I mean, if you find this keyword prime circle, this is from a topic called cam and followers. So if you see, if you observe, recall the definition of base circle. So base circle is the smallest circle which is tangential to the cam profile. It's a smallest circle that can be drawn tangential to the cam profile from the center of rotation. So that is P3 would be the combination. Next is prime circle. Prime circle is going to be basically tangential with the pitch curve. Okay, and pitch curve can be drawn, that is the definition of pitch curve is that it is the locus of a reference point. Okay, so prime circle is the circle that is drawn tangential to the pitch curve from the center of rotation. Okay, so that is Q1 it has to be. Next is pitch circle. So pitch circle is defined with respect to pitch point and pitch point is defined with respect to the pressure angle. The point where the pressure angle is maximum, that we call it as pitch point, and the locus of that pitch point, okay, from the center through the center of the rotation is called as pitch circle. So R2 will be there. So P3, Q1, R2. What is the combination? P3, Q1 and R2. That is option C is the answer. Okay, so don't get confused. Don't try to match this pitch circle with the pitch curve. So pitch circle and pitch curve, they have no relevance. The pitch circle and pitch point is having relevance and pitch point is having relevance with the pressure angle. Okay, so this would be the combination. Next, what is the damping ratio of a critically damped system? So for critical damping, zeta is equal to 1, and if it is zeta less than 1, then the system is under damped, and if zeta is greater than 2 or zeta is between 1 and 2, these two are going to tell that system is over damped. So for this question, the answer is option A, straightforward and standard result. Next one, the critical speed of a rotating shaft is the speed at which the shaft starts to vibrate violently. The shaft is going to whirl basically, and that whirling happens only in the transverse direction, that is perpendicular to the axis of rotation. Okay, so the shaft is going to, the shape of the shaft is going to be bending, it will be subjected to reverse bending stresses. So this is what we call whirling of shaft. So that is happening in the transverse direction. Option B is the answer. Next, consider the following statement regarding the instantaneous center. So here instantaneous center is given, but the statements are relating to angle of approach, angle of recess. Okay, so there is a typing mistake over here, but the statements are related to the chapter called as gears. So here if you observe directly, if you see the statement 3, that is in general angle of approach is equal to angle of recess. So angle of approach and angle of recess, they might be closer to each other, but we cannot go for such claim that both the angles has to be equal. So statement 3 is incorrect. So now check the options. In the options A, that you are finding statement 1 and 2. In option B, you are finding statement 3. Option C also you are finding statement 3. Even in option D also you are finding the statement 3. So you can use here the elimination approach. So the answer would be option A only. So let's go through the definition. Angle of approach is defined as the angle through which the gear rotates from at an instant when it comes in contact, and that contact is maintained up till the pitch point. That is also referred as path of engagement or path of approach. Or along this angle we are going to measure the path of approach. Okay. And similarly, the angle of recess or the path of disengage or the angle of disengagement, it is the angle from the pitch point and up till when the teeth are losing the contact, or the teeth when they break the contact. So that is the definition for the angle of recess. So here you can find option A is only including the 2 statements. Okay, and for the statement 3 is invalid. Option A would be the answer. Next, what is the name of the gear half of whose width is cut with a tooth helix in one direction and other half in the opposite direction? So if the tooth helix is in opposite direction, this happens only in the herringbone gear or the double helical gear. So you can find here option C is telling about herringbone gear, or this is also referred as helical gear, but there is a minor difference between those two. So for this question, option C is the answer. Which gears do not in any way affect the velocity ratio in a simple gear train? So the gears who are not going to modify the value of velocity ratio are the intermediate gears, or basically they are also referred as idler gears. Okay, so idler gears basically don't affect the value of velocity ratio. Okay, option B is the answer. Next one, consider the following statement regarding the use of turning moment diagram. The area under turning moment diagram represents the work done per cycle. Yes, so work done per cycle, we generally write it as integral T into d theta 0 to cycle time. So this is basically representing work done. Next is dividing the area of turning moment diagram with the length of the base gives us the mean turning moment. So if I divide this area with the base, which means on the base we are plotting the crank angle. So if T mean can be written as integral T into d theta whole divided by d theta, and this has to be from 0 up till cycle time. So this is usually used to calculate, this expression is usually used to calculate the mean torque. Okay, option that is statement 1 is also correct and statement 2 is also correct. Okay, so it is we can discard the option B from here. Next is maximum ordinate of the turning moment diagram gives the maximum torque to which the crankshaft is subjected to. In the T theta diagram, the maximum value of the T theta diagram would be something like this. This is some approximate T theta diagram. So this vertical height, or if we measure this y coordinate, that is going to give us the torque. Okay, so maximum ordinate of the turning moment diagram gives us the maximum torque to which the crankshaft is subjected to. And on the x-axis we are plotting the crank angle. So statement 3 is also correct. That means statement 1, 2 and 3 all are correct. Option D is the answer. Okay. Next question. At how many degrees the crank of 2 cylinders are set each other so that the entire engine can be started easily and after stopping in any position. So in generally, you are required to know what should be the crank angle for a 2-cylinder engine so that the starting and stopping process can be made easier. Or in short, they are also asking out of which of these angles will give you more uniformity in the turning movement diagram. So it is a standard result for the 2-cylinder engine, that is the angle between the two cranks is maintained as 90 degrees, and this will give us a uniform turning movement diagram or uniform turning movement it is going to produce, and which makes the starting and stopping process easier. So option C is the answer for this question. So that's all the questions, guys, from the theory of machines, and I hope you have performed very well. Thank you.
Now let's discuss the questions on IC engines and refrigeration and air conditioning. So the first question goes like this. A grade written as 5 to 10 centimeter 500 A8 F24 S16 indicates 1.6 indicates the coal as having a size of 5 to 10 centimeters. This is the correct option. Then the heating value of 5000 kilocalories per kg. This is incorrect, dear students. And 8 to 10% ash. This is also correct statement. So which of the above are correct? So 1 and 2 both are correct, dear students. The second, 1 and 2 both are correct. Okay. Okay, now let us discuss the questions on IC engines and refrigeration and air conditioning. A grade written as 5 to 10 centimeters, 500 A8 F24 S1.6 indicates the coal as having a size of 5 to 10 centimeters. This is correct statement. Heating value of 5000 kilocalories per kg. This is also correct statement. 8 to 10% ash. This is incorrect, dear students. So option A is correct for this particular question. Now let's go for the next question. Consider the following statements regarding the engine operating characteristics. At very low engine speeds, the throttle will be almost closed, resulting in a high vacuum in the intake manifold. Okay, so this statement is correct, dear students. When quick deceleration is desired and the throttle is closed, at high engine speed, a very large vacuum is created in the intake system. So this is incorrect statement. When a cold engine is started, an overrich supply of fuel must be supplied to assure enough fuel vapor to create a combustible gas mixture. So this is also correct statement, dear students. Option C will be correct for this particular question. Okay, now let's see the next question. Consider the following statements regarding compression ignition engines. So in atomization process, fuel drops break into very small droplets. This is correct statement. Then in vaporization process, the small droplets of liquid fuel evaporate to vapor. So this is also correct statement, dear students. The smaller the fuel drop size emitted by the injector, the less efficient will be the atomization process. This is incorrect. So option A is correct for this particular question. Okay. Now let's go for the next question. Consider the following statements regarding combustion in internal combustion engines. At higher engine speeds, ignition delay is decreased in real time. So this is a correct statement. If injection is too early, ignition delay time will decrease. This is incorrect, dear students. Then the next, if the cetane number is low, ignition delay will be too long. So this is correct statement. So option C will be correct for this particular question. Now let's go for the next question. Consider the following statements regarding emissions and air pollution of two-stroke cycle SI engines. Addition of hydrocarbon emissions to the exhaust during scavenging process take place. So this is correct statement. The air fuel intake mixture is used to push exhaust residual out of the open exhaust. So this is also correct statement, dear students. Lubricating oil is fully combustible as readily as fuel. So this is incorrect. So option A is correct for this particular question. Okay. So 1 and 2 statements are correct. Then the next question, higher calorific value of the fuel can be determined by using. So this is a direct question, dear students, Dulong formula. Okay. So this is about IC engines questions. Now let us discuss about refrigeration and air conditioning questions. Okay. So here the first question goes like this. Consider the following statements regarding vapor compression refrigeration cycle. Normally in the practical cycles, the temperature of the liquid refrigerant leaving the condenser is lower than the saturation temperature. This is correct, dear students. So in practical cycles, subcooling takes place. So therefore, first statement is correct. Then, so subcooling means you all know that less than the saturation temperature, the temperature will be there. Okay. Then subcooling ensures that no vapor enters the expansion wall, and furthermore it increases the refrigerating effect. This is also correct statement, dear students. The refrigerant is also subcooled before leaving the evaporator to make sure that only the wet vapor will enter the compressor. This is incorrect. We ensure that wet vapor will not enter the compressor. So try to see this one carefully. Option A is correct for this particular question. Then the next question goes like this. Consider the following statements regarding critical temperature of various refrigerants. So critical temperature of various refrigerants, carbon dioxide critical temperature is 30.98. This is correct statement. Critical temperature of methane is 94.47. This is incorrect, dear students. Critical temperature of ammonia is 132.22 degrees centigrade. So this is correct statement. So option C will be correct for this particular question. Okay. Now let's go for the next question. Consider the following statements regarding properties of refrigerants. Ammonia is highly toxic and highly irritating refrigerant. This is correct. So the next statement is carbon dioxide is corrosive refrigerant. This is incorrect, dear students. Carbon dioxide is not corrosive refrigerant. Okay. Then sulfur dioxide is highly toxic refrigerant. This is also correct statement. Okay. So option C will be correct for this particular question. Okay. Now next question. Consider the following statements regarding vapor absorption cycle. Absorbent should have negligible vapor pressure at generator temperature compared to refrigerant. Absorbent should have low specific heat. So first statement is correct, second statement is correct. Lithium bromide is hygroscopic salt with low affinity to water. So this is incorrect, dear students. So option A will be correct for this particular question. Then consider the following properties regarding properties of moist air. Okay, so this is air conditioning part, dear students. Percentage saturation is defined as the ratio of specific humidities saturated versus actual at a given temperature. Okay, so this is correct. Specific humidity is defined as the mass of water vapor in kilograms which is associated with 1 kilogram of dry air water vapor mixture. So this is incorrect, dear students. So second statement is incorrect. then relative humidity is the ratio of actual water vapor pressure in the air to the vapor pressure which would exist in the saturated mixture at the temperature of the air. So this is also correct statement. Directly definitions were given here. So you can observe specific humidity is mass of water vapor to the mass of dry air in kilograms we can consider. So 1 and 3 statements are correct for this particular question. Okay, then here is a problem, dear students. The sensible heat gain of a room is 4.8 kilowatts and its latent heat gain is 1.4 kilowatts. Then he is asking what is the sensible heat ratio. So sensible heat ratio will be equal to sensible heat by sensible heat plus latent heat. So this will be 4.8 kilowatts is the sensible heat gain, 4.8 by 4.8 plus 1.4. So you can write this as 4.8 by 6.2. Denominator term I will approximate it as 6.0 so that calculation becomes easy. Okay, so this will be equal to 4 by 5 approximately if we divide by 1.2. Okay, this will be equal to 0.8, as in the denominator you have 6.2. So the answer should be near to this 0.8 and it should be less than 0.8. So therefore option B you can consider it to be the correct answer. And the last question here, this is also related to psychrometry. Consider the following statements regarding psychrometry. Dry bulb temperature is the temperature of the air measured with the ordinary thermometer. This we all know, it is correct. Dew point temperature is the temperature at which water vapor in the air is saturated. This is also correct. Sensible heat is necessary to produce a change of state. So this is incorrect. We all know that latent heat causes the change of state. So therefore third statement is incorrect. Option A is correct for this particular question. So these are the questions from IC engines and refrigeration and air conditioning, dear students. Okay, thank you, all the very best.
Hello dear students, now let us discuss the questions from Thermodynamics and Power Plant Engineering. This year very easy questions asked from both Thermodynamics and Power Plant Engineering, and handful number of questions are asking from Thermodynamics 17 questions asked, whereas from Power Plant Engineering 14 questions asked. Totally 31 questions we are going to discuss from the combined Thermodynamics and Power Plant Engineering. Okay, without wasting your time, let us start the right solutions. Look at the very first question. It is given like this. Consider the following statements regarding the reheating in Rankine cycle. First statement, erosion and corrosion problem in the steam turbine are eliminated by reheating. Absolutely correct. Final drainage fraction of the steam is improved, absolutely correct. There is a decrease in nozzle and blade efficiency. No way reheating is affecting the nozzle efficiency and blade efficiency. Therefore, the 1 and 2 correct. Look at the option 1, option A is absolutely correct. Okay. Similarly, look at another question. What is the primary purpose of superheating the steam and supplying it to the prime mover? Look at the options. To decrease the power plant efficiency? No. To avoid the too much wetness at the end of the expansion, to increase the initial condensation losses in steam engine to make the steam visible. So, reheating, superheating of the steam is to avoid the too much wetness of the steam at the end of the expansion. Option B is absolutely correct. Okay. Similarly, consider the following statements regarding the reheating in Rankine cycle. The reheater may be heated by a coil carrying the high pressure superheated steam. Reheating should be done at optimum pressure. Second statement correct. A large proportion of heat supplied in the reheating process will be thrown waste in the condenser. Absolutely correct. Because of the reheating, high quality steam is available at the exit of the turbine. More amount of heat is dumped to surroundings. So 2 and 3 are absolutely correct. Option C is correct. Okay. Similarly, look at the other question. In case of a steam turbine working on Rankine cycle, the work done per kg of the steam flowing through the turbine and the amount of total heat supplied during the process are, right, the work done given work is 1080 kilojoules per kg and the heat supplied QS equal to 3076.1 kilojoules per kg. Respectively, what is the thermal efficiency? Very simple. Thermal efficiency equal to work done by heat supplied. You see, right? You substitute the values and simplify it for getting the efficiency. What I got is 35.1%. 35.1%. Simplify it. 35.1%. Look at the option C. Option C is absolutely correct. Similarly, look at another question. Consider the following statements regarding the advantage of regenerative cycle over the simple Rankine cycle. The heating process in the boiler tends to become reversible. Since the regeneration mechanism is trying to supply the high temperature feed water to the boiler, therefore temperature difference is decreasing. As the temperature difference is less, the reversibility is going to increase. That means it tends to become more reversible. First statement is absolutely correct. Heat rate is increased. No, the heat rate equal to 3600 divided by thermal efficiency. Because of the regeneration, whether with steam turbine power plant or gas turbine power plant, thermal efficiency increases, therefore the heat rate decreases. Second statement is absolutely wrong. A small size condenser is required, right? Yes, absolutely correct. Because of extraction of some quantity of the steam, the amount of steam available for condensation is less. Therefore, the amount of heat rejected in the condenser is less. Therefore, you can minimize the size of the condenser. 1 and 3 absolutely correct. Look at the option B. Option B is absolutely correct. Similarly, look at the another important question asking like this. Consider the following statements regarding the molecular weight. It is from basic thermodynamics. The molecular weight of air is 28.97 grams per mole. Absolutely correct. The molecular weight of the argon is 39.95 gram per mole. Also correct. The molecular weight of the carbon monoxide 20.42. Absolutely wrong. 1 and 2 correct. Look at the option A. Option A is correct. Similarly, look at the other question. Consider the following statements regarding the thermodynamic systems. Closed system is that system which exchanges neither energy. No, closed system can exchange the energy but cannot be mass. First statement is wrong. A system which consists of two phases is called homogeneous system. Absolutely correct. A phase is a quantity of matter which is homogeneous throughout in chemical composition and physical structure. Absolutely correct. 2 and 3 correct. Look at the option B. Option B is absolutely correct. Similarly, look at the other question. Consider the following statements regarding the pure substance. It is homogeneous in composition. First statement is correct. It is homogeneous in chemical aggregation. Absolutely correct. It is variable in chemical aggregation. Absolutely wrong. 1 and 2 correct. Look at the option A. Correct. Look at the another question. Consider the following statements regarding the phase change of a pure substance. The difference between superheated temperature and saturation temperature at the given pressure is called degree of superheat. Absolutely correct. The amount of heat required to convert liquid water completely into vapor is called heat of sublimation. No, sublimation connected to direct phase change from solid to vapor. If the temperature of the liquid water on cooling becomes lower than the saturation temperature for the given pressure, the liquid water is called subcooled liquid. Absolutely correct. 1 and 3 correct. Look at the option C. Option C is absolutely correct. Similarly, look at the other question. Consider the following statements regarding the thermometer and thermometric property. Constant volume gas thermometer is used to measure resistance. No, constant volume gas thermometer gives the reading in terms of pressure. Thermocouple is used to measure electromotive force. Absolutely correct. Pyrometer is used to measure intensity of radiation. Absolutely correct. 2 and 3 correct. Look at the B. B is absolutely correct. Similarly, look at the other question. Consider the following statements regarding the first law of thermodynamics. The first law applied to reversible as well as irreversible process. Absolutely correct. It is impossible to construct a perpetual motion machine of first kind. Absolutely correct. It is observed that when a system is made to undergo a complete cycle, then net work is done on or by the system. Yes, absolutely correct. If the cycle is in the clockwise direction, net work done is positive. If the cycle is in anti-clockwise direction, right, the net work is negative. Net work negative means that system is coming under power consuming system like refrigeration or air conditioning mechanism. All the statements are correct. 1, 2, 3 correct. Look at the option D. Option D is absolutely correct. Similarly, consider the following statements regarding the reversible process. Frictionless adiabatic expansion is ideal reversible process. Absolutely correct. Condensation and boiling of liquids are ideal reversible process. Also correct. Mixing of two fluids in a ideal reverse. No, mixing process always coming under irreversible process. Only 1 and 2 correct. Option A is correct. Similarly, consider the following statements regarding the perpetual motion machine. Machine which would continuously absorb heat from a single thermal reservoir and would be converting this heat completely into work is called perpetual motion machine of second kind. Absolutely correct. The machine which violates the first law of thermodynamics is called the PMM1. Absolutely. Perpetual motion machine of first kind. Absolutely correct. The perpetual motion machine of second kind does not violate the second. No, perpetual motion machine of second kind is violating the second law of thermodynamics because it is working with only one thermal reservoir. Only first statement and second statement correct. Okay. Similarly, consider the following statements regarding the Carnot cycle. It cannot be performed in practice because it is impossible to perform a frictionless process. Absolutely correct. Compression and expansion are non-reversible. Absolutely. Compression and expansion are non-reversible, right? Consider the following statements regarding the non-reversible. So this is one of the reasons why the Carnot cycle is not possible. Working medium is a perfect gas and has constant specific. Absolutely correct. All are correct. 1, 2, 3. Option D is absolutely correct. Similarly, a cyclic heat engine operates between a source temperature of 1000 degrees centigrade and sink temperature of 40 degrees centigrade. Find the least rate of heat rejection per kilowatt of net power output. It is given the lowest temperature equal to 40 plus 273 and highest temperature TH equal to 1000 plus 273. He is asking the heat rejection per kilowatt hour of network output, right? Heat rejection per network output. This network output is given 1 kilowatt. So from this, right, what you do is, you know, the network output equal to heat supplied minus heat rejection. From this, the heat supplied equal to network output plus heat rejection. Then write the efficiency formula. Efficiency of the Carnot cycle 1 minus lowest temperature by highest temperature is equal to 1 minus heat rejection by heat supplied. Here network output is 1 kilowatt. You substitute this heat supplied, this is the heat supplied, not heat rejection. We should be very careful while we are discussing in the limited space. The heat supplied, this heat supplied QS equal to net work plus heat rejection. You put there for getting the heat rejection per kilowatt net power output. I have calculated this value. I got 0.324. Option C is correct, approximately correct. Similarly, look at the another question. The efficiency of Otto cycle is 60%. The ratio of specific heat ratio gamma given. What is the compression ratio? Specific heat ratio, that is Cp by Cv, that is equal to gamma is given 1.5 and Otto cycle efficiency equal to 0.6. Then what is the Otto cycle efficiency? Otto cycle efficiency equal to 1 minus 1 by Rc power gamma minus 1. Right, it is equal to 0.6 equal to 1 minus 1 by Rc power 1.5 minus 1.5. You simplify this value for getting compression ratio. Right, I got compression ratio 6.25. You simplify it for getting the answer. Option A is absolutely correct. Similarly, look at the another question. Consider the following statements regarding the diesel cycle. Heat is supplied at constant pressure. Absolutely correct for diesel cycle. It has adiabatic expansion process. Absolutely correct. Rejection of heat at constant pressure. No. Rejection of heat at constant volume. 1 and 2 correct. Option A is correct. Similarly, a boiler generates 360 kg of steam per hour. The quantity of heat supplied per kg of the steam is 2560.6 kilojoules per kg. It is given mass of the steam produced per hour 300 kg. The heat supplied is 2560.6 kilojoules per kg. Next, the calorific value is 29245.4 kilojoules per kg. And amount of fuel burning per hour is 60 kg. Mass of the fuel burning per hour is 60 kg. Mass of the steam produced is given in terms of hours. Similarly, mass of the fuel burning. Then simply the boiler efficiency equal to mass of the steam produced into heat utilized by mass of the fuel multiplied by calorific value. Substitute all values and multiply with 100 for getting the efficiency. Right, I have calculated this value. Right, I got around 52.53. I got 52.53. You simplify this, you will get the answer. 52.53. Option C is absolutely correct. Similarly, consider the following statements regarding the locomotive boiler. It consists of cylindrical barrel with a rectangular firebox at one end and smoke box at the other end. First statement is absolutely correct. The hot gas which are generated due to burning of coal are deflected by an arc of fire bricks. Absolutely correct. The fire tubes are placed inside the smoke box. No, right? So 1 and 2 are correct. Option A is absolutely correct. Similarly, consider the following statements regarding the Babcock and Wilcox boiler. It is a 5-tube boiler. No, the Babcock and Wilcox boiler is the water tube boiler. It may be designed for stationary or marine purpose. Absolutely correct. It consists of drum connected to a series of front end and rear end headers by short riser tubes. Absolutely correct. 2 and 3 correct. Look at the 2 and 3. Option C is absolutely correct. Similarly, the ratio of heat recovered by 1 kg of water under working conditions to that received by 1 kg of water evaporated from and at 100 degrees centigrade is known as factor of evaporation. Option A is absolutely correct. Okay. Similarly, in a reaction turbine, the fixed blades and moving blades of the same shape but reversed in direction, the work done per pair of the blades per kg is given, work done is given, work is given 7600 joules per kg. If the heat drop per stage, heat drop means total enthalpy drop, dH is given 10.04. Since it is given in kilojoules per kg, multiply with 10 power 3 to get in joules per kg. Then what is the efficiency of the pair? Very simple. Pair efficiency equal to work by enthalpy drop per pair into 100. You substitute that value and simplify it for getting the answer. Here it is 75.7. 75.7. You simplify it you to get that 75.7. Option C is absolutely correct. Similarly, look at the other question. Consider the following statements regarding the leakage in condenser. The leakaging of the air in the condenser results decrease in back pressure. No, leaking causing increasing the condenser pressure is indication of increasing the back pressure. First statement is absolutely wrong. The leaked air in the condenser lowers the partial pressure of steam. Absolutely correct. The air has poor thermal conductivity, hence the leaked air reduces the rate of heat transfer from vapor. Absolutely correct. 2 and 3 correct. Where is the 2 and 3? Option C is absolutely correct. Similarly, which one of the following statements correctly distinguishes gas turbine plants from the steam turbine plants? Gas turbine plants operate at lower heat gas temperature. No, compared to steam turbine power plants, gas turbine power plants is having higher turbine inlet temperature. Gas turbine plants and steam turbine plants operate at the same inlet gas. No, absolutely wrong. Gas turbine plants operate at higher inlet gas temperature and lower pressures. Absolutely correct. So pressure wise steam turbines are maintaining high, but temperature wise at maximum temp, that is peak temperature maintained by the gas turbine is high. Option C is absolutely correct. Okay. Similarly, consider the following statements regarding effects of increasing the initial steam pressure in steam turbine plants. Increasing the initial steam pressure gives the higher saturation temperature of steam below the critical. Absolutely correct. When the pressure is increasing, definitely saturation temperature increases. The gains in thermal efficiency obtained by a large increase in the initial steam pressure in the higher range are of the order 5 to 7%. Second statement also correct. The wet of the steam, that means wetness of the steam in the larger part of the turbine would give lower turbine stage efficiency. Absolutely correct. When I increase the turbine inlet pressure, wetness of the steam increases, that will decrease the lower turbine. The wet of the steam in the larger part of the turbine would give the lower turbine stage efficiency. That one also correct. Because of the increase in pressure, the wetness increases, moisture content increases at the lateral stage. That's why stage efficiency decreases. Option D is right, absolutely correct. Okay. The wet steam in the larger part of the turbine would give the lower. Yes, absolutely correct. Similarly, consider the following statements about a ramjet engine. A ramjet engine does not have compressor and turbine. Absolutely correct. It is free from moving parts. Ramjet engine is ideal for hypersonic aircraft. Absolutely correct. Test shows that subsonic flow system is right choice for a ramjet. No, ramjet is coming under supersonic system, not subsonic system. So 1 and 2 correct. Where is 1 and 2? Option A is absolutely correct. Okay. Similarly, consider the following statements about the pulse jet engine. A pulse jet engine can be mass produced in a short time due to its simple construction and low cost. Absolutely correct. It is suitable for one-time military use. Absolutely correct. That's why it is also called flying bomb. It has turbine and no. The pulse jet engine and ramjet engine is having no moving parts. Only 1 and 2 correct. Option A is correct. Okay. Similarly, consider the following statements about the advantage of the turbojet engine. It is suitable for long distance flight at higher speeds and altitude. That's why this is absolutely correct. This is the reason almost all local flights and international flights are constructing to propel with the turbojet engine only. Reheating can be employed to increase the thrust. Absolutely correct. Pressure rise through the inlet diffuser is significant. Absolutely correct. Otherwise, very high velocity air is entering to the combustion chamber. Combustion cannot be properly happening. That's why diffuser must be significantly dropping the velocity of the system for increasing the pressure. All the 3 statements are correct. Look at the option D. Option D is correct. Similarly, consider the following statements regarding compressor. A centrifugal compressor like a pump is a head producing device. It is always increasing the pressure. Right. The centrifugal type of compressor suitable for low specific speed and higher pressure. No, it is for high specific speed and low pressures or medium pressures. The centrifugal compressor is less efficient than axial flow compressor. Absolutely correct, because pressure rise per stage of the axial flow compressor is low. That's why adverse pressure gradient with axial flow compressor is less. That's why efficiency is more maintained by the axial flow compressor. Only 1 and 3 correct. Look at the option B. Option B correct. Similarly, in axial compression stage, the ratio of actual change in enthalpy in the rotor to the actual change in enthalpy in the stage is called degree of reaction. Degree of reaction can be measured in terms of change in enthalpy or change in pressure also, right. Similarly, look at, okay, all the problems, all the 31 problems what we have, right, got today's exam completed. I hope all of you clearly understood, right. Okay, thank you.
Let us look at the questions on the subject of fluid mechanics. The first question over here is saying, if the specific gravity of a fluid is known, density of the fluid will be found equal to the specific gravity of fluid multiplied by density of what? It's a very simple question. Density is going to be density of A is equal to SA multiplied to density of water. So option B will be correct over here. Next question over here. A pipe contains an oil of specific gravity 0.9. The differential manometer connected at the 2 points A and B show a difference in the mercury level of 15 centimeter. What is the difference of pressure at these points? The pressure difference over here, delta P, will be equal to how much? Rho G into HM multiplied to SM by SW minus 1. SM over here will be mercury specific gravity, that is 13.6, and SW over here will be 0.9. If you apply this thing, you will get the answer as 18,688. This is option B over here again, 18,688 Newton per meter square. Next question, the principle, which principle is the basis of differential pressure measuring devices? Differential pressure measuring devices is based on Bernoulli equation. Over there, due to difference in pressures, you are going to have change in datums. So option B will be correct over here. Next question is regarding the concept of stability in the case of floating bodies. The question is saying regarding the following statements for floating bodies. Statement 1 over here is saying, during the movement, the volume immersed on both right hand side and left hand side increases. It is impractical. If one side the volume of submergence is increasing or volume of displacement is increasing, one side has to reduce. So statement 1 is wrong. If you see only one option is supporting statement 1 is wrong, that is option B. You don't even have to read anything further. You can straight away say option B over here is correct. Moving further. Now this is a very lengthy question but very simple question actually. Again, you don't have to answer everything. If you are able to answer one or two things, you will be able to match the following. The question is saying list 1 and list 2 you have to match them. Steady uniform flow he is saying. Steady uniform flow, steady के लिए discharge is supposed to be constant, uniform के लिए area is supposed to be constant. Look for this particular condition. You can see option 2 over here, flow at constant rate through a duct of uniform cross section. So P goes to 2. If you see P goes to 2, only one option over here is correct. This is option B, says P goes to 2 over here. Okay, option B is saying P goes to 2. Okay. Next question over here. Let us see. The question is saying, consider the following statements regarding the properties of stream function. Statement 1, velocity potential exists, the flow should be rotational. If velocity potential exists, the flow should be irrotational actually. So statement 1 is wrong over here. Again, if statement 1 is wrong, I don't have to go any further. I can straight away say option B is correct over here. Next question, again match the following. Match the following questions are some of the easiest questions actually. Okay. He's saying match the following list 1 with list 2 over here. Orifice meter, venturi meter, pitot tube. Now you see, we know pitot tube is measuring velocity. So R has to go for 2. If I see over here R has to go for 2, I can see only one option is saying R should go for 2. Therefore option C is correct. No need to do everything. You see, you are not being awarded marks for solving every bit. You are being awarded marks only for getting the correct answer. However quickly you are able to get the correct answer, that is the best way to do it. Next thing over here, what is the pressure gradient along the flow if the oil viscosity is 0.02 Newton second per meter square flowing between two stationary parallel plates 1 meter wide maintained 10 mm apart. The velocity midway between the plates is equal to 2 meter per second. Okay. The velocity midway between the plates is equal to 2 meter per second, he is saying. Now you see, midway between the plates is basically maximum velocity. The value of U max is equal to how much? In the case of laminar flow between two plates, it is equal to 1 by 8 mu minus dP by dx multiplied to b square. So you can say minus dP by dx over here has to be equal to how much? It has to be equal to U max multiplied to 8 mu divided by b square. So it is equal to 8 multiplied to U max is equal to 2. Mu over here is given to you as how much? 0.02 divided by b over here is 10 mm, that is equal to 10 power minus 2 rather, 1 second, 10 power minus 2 whole square. If you see this 8, 2 and 2, I can directly say 8, 2 and 2 should give me somewhere around 32. Only one option is having 32 with it, option C. So option C would be correct over here. You can do the calculation, it will be exactly equal to 3200 Newton per meter square. Next question over here. Consider the following statements regarding transitional flow in Bernoulli equation. Now this is a slightly difficult question. Probably statement 1 you won't even know. Okay, the statement 1 is saying Tolman and Schlitting predicted that waves would form and grow in the boundary layer. This is actually a correct statement. Statement 1 is correct over here. If you see next thing, it is saying it has been seen that in the presence of adverse pressure gradient at high Reynolds number, two-dimensional waves appear. This also is correct. So 1 and 2 are correct over here. Next thing, the instantaneous velocity profiles produce low shear in the outer region of boundary layer. This is wrong. So 1 and 2 are correct. So option will be A. This probably was a difficult question for you. Going to the next question. This is a very simple one. What type of turbulence is generated between or by two adjacent layers of fluid in the absence of wall? It is called as free turbulence. Option B will be correct over here. Next question. The equation commonly used for finding head loss due to friction in pipes, Darcy-Weisbach equation. No difficulty at all. Option A is correct over here. Next question. The sum of pressure head and potential head is termed as pressure plus datum head is known as piezometric head. Option C would be correct over here. So those are questions from fluid mechanics. You see, majority of the questions, I can say 90% of the questions were very, very simple. Some questions were such that if you are partially able to answer, you are getting the answer for that. Moving further to hydraulic machinery. Question number 1 over here says, consider the following statements regarding centrifugal pumps. First statement is speed ratio varies from 0.95 to 1.25. Statement 1 is correct. The flow ratio varies from 0.1 to 0.25. This is also correct. For low to medium specific speed pumps, the number of vanes required is 15 to 25. This is wrong. So 1 and 2 correct, option A would be correct over here. Moving further. Now this question is slightly lengthy over here. The question is saying centrifugal pump has an impeller of 30 centimeter outer diameter. Vane tips are radial at the outlet. For a rotative speed of 1450 rpm, what is the manometric head developed? Efficiency is 82%. Now we have the formula for efficiency over here. It is equal to G times HM divided by VW2 into U2. From here, if you calculate the value of HM, you will get is 43.38. Option D will be correct over here. Next thing, very simple question. The discharge of 0.4 meter cube per second of water is needed to be pumped to a total head of 240 meter. The total head over here is 240 meter. Okay. How many pumps connected in series and each having specific speed of 35 and running at a speed of 1500 rpm will be needed for this particular job? Dynamic head of the system can be neglected over here. Now you see you are having series connections in pumps over here. How many pumps are required? So identify each pump would have how much head over here. You can find it out using specific speed of pump, which is equal to n root q upon h power 3 by 4. Now if you calculate the value of h over here, you will get the value of h approximately as 81 meter. So each pump is taking care of 81 meter and you want 240 meter right now. So number of pump is equal to how much? Number of pump over here is equal to 240 divided by 81. 240 by 81 is slightly less than 3. You can see approximately 3 pumps are required. So number of pumps is 3. Option C would be correct over here. Next thing, consider the following statement regarding reciprocating pumps. Okay. Statement 1 is saying the ratio of theoretical discharge to actual discharge is known as coefficient of discharge. This is wrong. Coefficient of discharge is actual discharge to theoretical discharge, not theoretical to actual. So statement 1 is wrong. If you see only one option is giving you statement 1 is wrong, again you don't have to solve anything. Straight away you can say option C is correct over here. Okay. No need to even read second and third now. Okay, don't bother. Next thing. Consider the following statements regarding advantages of air vessels in suction. Statement 1 is saying power expended in pumping will reduce. Okay, correct. Next is friction losses will reduce. This is also correct. For a given speed, there will be increase in cavitation susceptibility. This is wrong over here. So 1 and 2 only are correct. Option A is correct over here. Next question, Kaplan turbine produces 6.5 megawatt of power at a head of 15 meter under a speed of 150 rpm. What is the specific speed? Direct question. Specific speed of a pump is equal to n root p. Mind you, p should be in kilowatt over here, upon h power 5 by 4. H power 5 by 4. If you put this thing, you will get approximately 410 as the answer. Option C would be correct. Again, I am telling you, p should be in kilowatt. So you will be putting over here 6500 over here. Okay. These were the questions on the subject of fluid mechanics and hydraulic machinery. I hope the questions were clear to all of you. All the very best for your future. Thank you.
So, good evening. So, now we will see the subject of mechatronics and robotics, right. So, already we have seen the set number is A, right, and concerned to the mechatronics and robotic subject, right. So, here if you see the weightage concern here, so the weightage here we total number of questions we got the 13 questions, right. So, the question number is given concerned to the set A, that is 76 to 88 question number, right. So, let us see the same solutions related to the questions, right. So, the first question if you see here, the first question that is 76, it is related to the statement question I can say. So, here they are saying that consider the following statements regarding the mechatronics and robots. It is a general question they are given. So, in the first statement if you see the mechatronics is a synergetic combination of precision mechanical engineering as well as engineering control and systems thinking in the design of products and manufacturing processes, right. So, the basic definition is given here, and the second concern the statement question is given that the all robots are not mechatronic systems, right. So, the second statement says that all robots are not mechatronic system, but all mechatronic systems are robot, right. And here the third statement says that all machines that do not have any kind of autonomy in their behavior because they simply automatically act according to the input they receive from the humans are strictly pure mechatronic system, right. So, here if you see the second statement is incorrect I can say, right. So, because already we have seen the fundamentals of mechatronics concept. So, whatever the robots are there, all are in mechatronics in nature, right. So, corresponding to that concept whatever we discussed it in the classroom, so the second statement is incorrect I can say, right. So, from the options whatever they are given, option A and B, C, D here. So, among this if we eliminate the second option I can say, so the right answer is concerned to this question is that C, right. So, the same detailed solution as given here, right. So, the same thing will be going to upload it in the website, you can go through it, right. So, the robotics can be considered according to the second statement, the robotics can be considered as a part of mechatronic system. All robots are nothing but what? It is a mechatronic system, right, but not all mechatronic systems are robots. That is the justification concerned to the second statement, right. So, let us move on to the next question, that is 77, right. How much voltage can be produced by a typical cell at full rated load, right. So, here the concern to the high voltage, so that is nothing but the 0.6 voltage to the 0.7 volts, right. So, the right answer is that option C I can say, right. And the next question we can see that 78, that is consider the following statements regarding a graph theory and consensus, right. So, here the first statement says that graphs are often exploited for modeling the communication between the robots in multi-robot systems I can say, right. And the second statement says that consensus problem is a well-known and widely studied problem in the field of decentralized control of multi-robot systems I can say, right. So, next third statement, Renewable is the problem of controlling the robots in such a way that based on the local available quantities and their position converge to the common value, right. So, it is basically it is given the question related to the graph theory and consensus, right. So, here the right answer concerned to this question is that 78, right. Right. So, here the statements whatever they are given, all three statements related to the graph theory and the consensus are the correct I can say, right. So, the right answer concerned to this one is that option D, right. So, let us we have the same solution concerned to the question, right. So, the next question we have, that is consider the following statements regarding Microsoft robots, right. Microsoft Robotics Developer Studios, that is MRDS, right? Those statements are given. MRDS was freely available .NET based programming environment for building robot applications, right? So MRDS, that is Microsoft Robotic Developer Studio, can be used by the professional developers, right? And this third statement is given, MRDS can be used by non-professional developers, right? So here also the whatever the three statements are given concern to the Microsoft Robotic Developer Studio are the correct, right? So this MRDS can be used by the both professional developers as well as the non-professional developers, and it is a freely available, and but the statements is given here, that is option D, that is all the statements are given, right? So here this MRDS is a freely available but not open source, right? So that is the concern to the first statement. The detailed solution is given concern to the question, right? So let's move on to the next question, right? So that is 80. For a software component model, the link between the components of internal ports, the components of the internal ports and the components related to external ports is realized via, right? So via option A is given as communication pattern, and B is a smart soft model software, and agnostic model and hidden dotted model component, right? So here what are the link will be there between the internal ports and the external port, I can say, right? So which is nothing but what? It's a communication pattern, right? So the correct answer concerned to this question is that option A, right? So the same solution as given here. So let's move on to the next question, right? That is 81, right? So here, so the question is basically related to the actuators are given, right? So let's see the statements concerned to the same. So the use of multiple extra actuators requires the development of new control strategies to cope with the diverse interaction that may arise compared with the standard systems with a single actuator, right? So here the second statement is given that 2 degrees of freedom actuators can also designed to combine two motions like a rotor translation direct drive motor, I can say, right? So their response time is 10 to hundreds of milliseconds, but they can be profitably used in the many mechatronic applications, right? So that is the third statement is given, right? So here what are the three statements are given, consider the actuators are all are correct. So hence the option D is a correct one, right? Option D is a correct one, right? So let's move on to the next question, right? So here is a concern solution to the respective question. All right. So the next question, that is 82. Consider the following statements regarding to the intrinsic tactile sensor, right? So it is basically related to the sensor chapter, I can say, in mechatronics. So here it says that the intrinsic tactile sensing consists of one strain gauge detecting vertical forces and derive both vertical forces and the position of the center of pressure, right? So here it is says that it consists of one strain gauge detecting the vertical force and derive both vertical force and position of the center of pressure, I can say, right? And the second statement is given that intrinsic sensing is based on a force or torque sensor placed within the mechanical structure of the sensing system, right? And the third one we have extrinsic sensing is based on the sensor which is or often arranged in a array that are mounted at or near the contact interface, right? So here concern to the intrinsic tactile sensor, right? So here generally we will be going to have the 4 strain gauges, right? So in the construction, I can say, right? So here from the statement 1, right? So it is a incorrect statement, right? So from the given option, if we eliminate the one statement here, so option A, B and D are the incorrect and option C is a correct one, right? So the same option as given here, right? So consider the same solution, consider the question, right? Here we will be going to have the 4 strain gauges, right? So that is also we have seen in the classroom, right, along with the respective diagram. So let's move on to the next one, that is 83 question I guess, right. Consider the following statements regarding to the simple electroencephalography, right. So it is given as EEG, right. Consider the EEG, right. So here, so the first statement says that a subjective index is obtained by a questionnaire, whereas an objective index is determined by biosignal, right. Similarly, here EEG is one of the biosignal used indexes for the determining the preferences, right. So here the visualization of the mind status cannot be done by using the EEG, right. So the correct statement here, only the 1 and 2 I can say, right. Only the correct statements are 1 and 2 only, right. So here the visualization of the mind status can be done by using the EEG, right. So hence eliminating the option 3, so we can get the correct option concerned to this question is 1 and 2 are the two statements are correct, that is option A, right. So the same answer as given visualization of the mind status is using by the EEG, that, right, that is a simple electroencephalography graph, right, right. So let's move on to the next question, that is 84, right. Consider the following statements regarding the next generation motion control, right. So this question is related to next generation motion control I can say, right. So here whatever the questions are statements are given to this question, right. So the all three statements are correct I can say, right. So the same solution as given in the PDF, right. So the correct answer concerned to this question is that all the statements related to the next generation motion control are correct, right. So the detailed solution is given here, right. So you can go through it. So next question we have 85, that is consider the following statements regarding to the next generation impedance control, right. So the next question we have next generation impedance control I can say, right. So for first statement says that a mechanical impedance at an interaction port can be defined as the dynamic operator, right, that determines the output force in response to the input velocity at the same port, right. And here the mechanical admittance is a dynamic operator that determines an output velocity in the response to the input force, obviously, right. And for a linear system, admittance is a proportional to the impedance, and both can be represented as a transfer function of Laplace domain, right. So here what are the statements are three statements, right. So all of the statements are correct concerned to the next generation impedance control, right. So the correct answer concerned to this one is that D, right. Right. So next question if you see here, next one we have again statement question I can say. So that is related to CBSE, that is a component based software engineering I guess, right. Component based software engineering, right. So it says that the first statement, it is shift emphasizes in the system building from the traditional requirement analysis and system design and implementation to the composing software system from mixture of reusable of the self custom built components, right. Similarly, the second statement is given that CBSE, that is a computer based software engineering, right, is based on explication of all relevant information about the component to the make it usable by other software elements without the need to get in a contact with the component providers, right. And here the third statement is given that software components explicitly cannot be considered reusable pieces of software, right. So here the third statement whatever it is given, it is incorrect. Generally the software components explicitly can be considered reusable pieces of the software I can say, right. So concerned to this question, so here the third statement is incorrect. So if we eliminate the same thing here, the third number, so the correct option concerned to this question is that option A, right. So that is the same key as well as the solution as given, right. Right. So let's move to the next question, that is 87 I can say, right. So this statement is related to the service oriented architecture, I can say, right? That is the SOAS, right? Service oriented architecture, right? So here the first statement is given again similar to the SOAS, right? And here the services performing, the second statement, services performing are the key entities communication between the provider and the consumer, I can say, right? So here the third statement is given that SOAS, right? That is a service oriented architecture is not related to policy and practice and frameworks, right? So here it is basically that is SOA is related to policy and practices and framework. Hence, the third statement is incorrect, right? So here whatever it is given, the third statement is incorrect, I can say, right? So from the correct option from this given is that option A is the correct one, right? Option A is the correct one, right? So here we can check the same thing, right? So the same solution as given here, right? Related to all three statements, right? All right. So next move to the last question, that is 88, I can say. So this question is related to basically simulation, localization and mapping, that is SLAM, I can say, right? So it is also related to the statement type of question, right? SLAM forms the backbone of mobile robotics as it is prerequisite for a higher level of tasks such as path planning as well as the navigation, I can say, right? So the next one statement says that SLAM has received attention in a lot of robotics community, and many algorithms that address different aspects of the problem have been proposed over the years, right? And the third statement is given that the architecture of a SLAM algorithm can be divided into the mainly two components. Right? That is, the first one is that front end, and second one is we have a back end, I can say, right? So the all three statements are given consent to the SLAM, I can say, right? That is simultaneous localization and the mapping, right? So all three statements are correct. Hence the option D is the correct one, right? So these are the questions and detailed solution related to mechatronics and robotics, right? So here we have a last question solution, I can say, right? So the same solution will be going to upload it in the website. You can go through it, right? So, and finally, all the best. This is a conclusion of ESE Prelims Mechanical 2025 Prelims Paper 2. Thank you.